What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mobile video. So today I do want to discuss a little bit more about DMZ. So I had a conversation about a few days ago around Saturday when I was returning home from my unit, and I was talking to Parker. I decided to, just call him mainly because, from my unit to home, that's like around 300 plus miles. So I just wanted to pass some time and just talk to him for a little bit. And we actually decided to talk a little bit about DMZ because, as cool as it is that we're getting a completely new mode to play in the 6th anniversary season for this game, it kind of made me wonder, what do we really get out of it? Whenever they introduce a new mode, you would kind of hope that there is a reward system that they would kind of help you out with just to keep you invested within that mode. I mean, Undead Siege did that. They added Ether Crystal into the game, and they even had a reward, like a calling card, once you actually got Ether Crystal and everything. So there was a bit of an incentive to play Undead Siege, albeit it was still very repetitive, but at least there was something to keep you going. Every mode in this game has a hook. Multiplayer has ranked, it also has a camo grind, and BR also has a ranked mode where you could just climb to the top, get to top 5,000. Same, goes for multiplayer ranked. And you could also, like I said, camo grind at the same time, albeit at a slower pace. Undead Siege had Ether Crystal, like I said, and the regular zombies introduced a new battle pass, which, let's be honest, they haven't updated since they released it, that gave us a lot of access to more nuclear Fallout skins. But that's basically it. So, what does DMZ actually have to offer? Like, what is the hook that they're going to have for us to make us continue playing the mode? So, I mean, obvious stuff first, it does have a ranking system, much like BR. I'm assuming it's going to act the same way. But more importantly, they actually do have a camo grind for DMZ. And this was something that I don't really think was fully available for DMZ back in Modern Warfare 2. At least, they didn't have camo challenges. They did have one camo for you to unlock, but it was not really something where you had to get a certain amount of kills or a certain amount of headshots with the weapon, at least from what I remember. But this time around with DMZ Recon, we actually do have a camo grind. However, we don't really know how or like what the conditions are to unlock the camo for every gun. But we're kind of getting a new version of a camouflage. This is something that we haven't seen yet. And we've already have quite a wide array of camouflages. We've had some that cover the entire gun, like Borealis and Diamond. We have shiny ones like Damascus, Platinum, and Gold. We also had Parallax camo starting with Ether Crystal all the way to Stained Glass. Or I'm sorry. I mean Stained Ass. But yeah, we've had all different types of camos in this game. But for the very, very first time, we're actually getting introduction of a reactive camo. Just in case you guys don't know what they are, basically, if you play Black Ops 4, every few kills, your camo would kind of evolve to a different color or a different shape. I think that's what made the Black Ops 4 camos amazing. They had that for Dark Matter, they had that for Nebula, and just various different camos within that game. And obviously, that it kind of changed over time. I mean, with Black Ops 6, Black Ops 7, they have different types of reactive camos, like where if you shoot more, the gun's going to change, stuff like that. But this is our very first time, at least in this game, getting one of these types of camos. So as of right now, this camo hasn't really been labeled. It's just called DMZ S1. So I'm assuming this is going to be a DMZ seasonal camo for at least the first season. But yes, like I said, it is actually reactive, and as you're seeing, you could see all the different colors that it can change to the more kills you get. So a lot of people are very excited to see a camo like this because it covers the entire weapon. And even with the iron sight parts or like, stuff that isn't around the body, like the barrels, the iron sight, the magazines on some weapons, there are also different texture changes, which is amazing. And like I said, a lot of people don't really know what the name of this camo is, but given how the design is or how it looks, I'm assuming this is going to be Nebula camo. Or at least it's going to be some form of the Nebula camo. And the reason why, again, like I say, that's because it's very close in comparison to what Nebula was in Black Ops 6. Obviously, in that game, it worked differently where you just kept shooting and, the color of the camo would change. But here, of course, maybe because they haven't tried that yet in this type of engine, they have it instead of changing colors every 2 kills. So from what it looks like, it doesn't really seem to be a completionist camo per se, but I think it might be something that you unlock within some sort of camo crate. The question is now how are these things going to be attained? I don't really know. There could be different challenges like milestones, like maybe loot some saves like maybe 10 times and you could probably earn a few crates here and there. From what I understand, there should be some sort of battle pass for DMZ, like a separate thing from like the main battle pass that we normally get every season. I'm hoping that's true. Maybe that'll be a good way to get more of those camos, but I can't really imagine them having some sort of challenge behind every gun where you can actually unlock it that way, because that would be a complete like it wasn't in the DMZ test server. There's no extra challenges. It doesn't really indicate that there's going to be anything like that. So I'm assuming it's going to be some form of crate involved thing, kind of like how the secret cache is or how Borealis was administered to all of us. But I mean, this camo is just absolutely insane. You know, having different colors like that, 10 different phases where every 2 kills it changes colors. That is something that, again, we haven't seen that in this game. And honestly, I actually started to believe whether or not it was possible or not. But apparently it is. However, I do have some problems with this, and I do plan to make I guess, a larger scale video about this whole camo situation. But just to put it short, as cool as it is that we're actually getting a good reward for playing DMZ and being dedicated to that mode as well, I think what bothers me the most is that something that looks that good and it being the first of its kind in this game, just to be unlocked potentially super easily that anyone could just get it, kind of destroys the value of the camo in the first place. When you think of a camo like that nebula looking one that we're getting for DMZ, you would assume that a camo like let's say you've never played the game once in your life. You know, you never played COD Mobile once. You're barely just installing the game and you come across a person in your first match that has that camo, and you will assume that, you know, in your prior Call of Duty experiences, let's say you were playing Black Ops 6 or like if you came from Black Ops 7, you would assume a camo like that would have been something that you would have to work hard for. But then you find out that everyone just has it because all you had to do was just simply play a certain mode for about 5 minutes and you get the camo. And I think that's kind of like the issue in this game. There seems to be like some sort of earning imbalance when it comes to camos because it takes you such a long time to get gold, platinum, and Damascus on all of your weapons, but it only takes you about 5 minutes to get a good seasonal camo on a certain gun. And it just, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that, but I'm just glad that DMZ has a camo for it. And for all we know, maybe it's just labeled that way. Maybe it's secretly the all diamond camo, but no. I doubt it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be for DMZ specifically. So yeah, we're actually getting a full camo. We'll probably learn when the update comes out how this thing's actually going to be unlocked, because as of right now, the translation wasn't, I guess, fully implemented into the global test server because there's still a lot of things like in the Chinese text. The SO14 got their attachments updated as well, but again, they're all in Chinese, so you don't really know what each of them do. So yeah. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like, make sure to subscribe for some more COD Mode content. I'll see you guys next time.